everyone, and welcome to my October book haul. So I have a lot of books to show you. What else is new? So October, there's full of spooky books, but surprisingly I don't have a lot of spooky books in this haul. Either way, I'm still calling it a spooky October haul because it's around Halloween, or Halloween just happened, I think, depending on when I upload this. So why not call it a spooky book haul? Either way, I bought some really good books this month, and I received a ton of amazing books from publishers and book boxes. So much to publishers and book boxes for doing that. I'm so eternally grateful, but there's like 1 or 2 books in this haul, so let's get on to it. The first book I bought should come as no surprise to anyone because I had to buy it. There was really no choice in the matter, like it was a necessity, and that is the illustrated version of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And this, I'm so excited for this one. This is my favorite Harry Potter book. I love it. I will always love it so very much, and I love the cover of this one. It is perfect for like Halloween and stuff, and the illustrations again are stunning. I don't have to tell you how beautiful they are because Jim Kay just makes it come to life. I have yet to read one of these fully. I know it's sad, but I think I'm kind of saving it for when my son grows up and we can read them together, and I wanted to start out with the illustrated versions, and of course I had to buy this. It was worth every penny, mind you, even though my wallet was upset. The last book I bought, I know I only bought 2 books this month because honestly there's not a ton of new releases coming out in October. November there are, and then whatever new releases I was interested in I actually got sent copies of, so I was very grateful for that. So I only had to buy 2 books this month, which is good but bad, I guess. I don't know. I'm really trying to be better about my TBR Pile, guys. The last one, like I said, I got is Ringer by Lauren Oliver. So this is the second book in the Replica series. I'm not sure if it's going to be a duology, or I hope it's duology. I think duologies are great. I don't know what Replica is about. It's a sci-fi book, and it's actually dual narrative. So you have one side that is Gemma's side, and then you flip it over, and then you have Lyra. I always say that wrong. Side. So you can either read Lyra's side first, then Gemma's side, or you could do alternating chapters, whatever you want to do. I have a review on Replica if you weren't interested to check it out, because everyone has a different way of how they read it. I really enjoy it. It's a great sci-fi book that's all about kind of cloning and, you know, nature versus nurture, and I really enjoy it. I'm a sucker for Lauren Oliver books, so I liked it a lot. And I must say, I really enjoyed this cover much more than the first one. The first one was red and yellow. I like this one, how it's kind of like a shiny red, and then you have like a shiny purple, and the freaking spine is stunning. So excited to read this. The next set of books I have to show you, which is a lot, are books that got sent to me by publishers. So thank you so much. I do not take these for granted at all. Sometimes I request them. Sometimes they just show up on my doorstep. Either way, I'm grateful for every single book I got. There's a few in this pile that I requested that I never thought I would ever get sent. I'm always like, I should try to request that. Then I'm like, you're never gonna get that. Why are you gonna try? It's just not gonna be possible. And then sometimes it happens. A lot of times it does not happen. This month it happened quite a lot, surprisingly. So I am super happy. But one that got sent to me by Scholastic Press is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. This book just came out in October, and I'm super excited to read it. It is a standalone from Maggie Stiefvater, which is great. She also wrote the Raven Cycle, which everybody loves, myself included. It's one of my favorite series of all time. It has been getting a little bit of controversy with the diversity representation in it, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to go into it with open eyes and really just examine it and see what it does. This is all about these cousins, pretty much, that they all live in Colorado, and they're all trying to like escape it somehow, but it's magical realism, I think. Maggie Stiefvater writes magical realism beautifully. They're all looking for a miracle, I think. And I don't know much about it. I don't want to know much about it. I think with Maggie Stiefvater books, you have to go into them just not expecting anything, but expected to be like blown away. She just writes beautifully. She's one of my favorite authors for the sake of how she writes. It's so flowery and so descriptive and just very enthralling. So I highly recommend you check it out. I haven't read this yet. I plan to read it in November, but I'm very excited for it. I've heard a lot of good things from some people. Like I said, some not so great things from other people, so we'll have to see how I enjoy it, if I enjoy it, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. I'm not gonna lie to you. The next book that got sent to me was sent to me from Simon & Schuster, and that is The Becoming of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hawkins. So I actually just finished the Unbecoming Amara Dyer trilogy. I did a whole video review on the whole trilogy, so if you want to see that, it'll be right here. This is a companion trilogy based on one of the characters, Noah Shaw. So I'm very, very excited to read it. I was going to read it as soon as I finished the trilogy, but I kind of I read like 2 back-to-back books in that trilogy, and that trilogy is a mind F. Like, it will mess up your mind, it'll make you have weird dreams. So I was like, I think I'm gonna wait a little bit to read this book. But either way, I'm super excited I got it. The next book I received also from Simon & Schuster, and actually just finished it, and that is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. So if you haven't heard of Alice Hoffman, she wrote Practical Magic, and I'm sure a lot of you are like, Practical Magic? Isn't that a movie? Yes, it is. It has Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock in it. It's about these witches and about this family, the Owens family, and how if they fall in love, like it's a curse that their loved one is gonna die. And there is a book based on it that Alice Hoffman wrote, and she actually just made a prequel to this called The Rules of Magic. So I have never read Practical Magic, but I love the movie. As cheesy as it is, it's a cheesy movie, but I still love it, and I love watching it every Halloween. I really wanted to read this one, and I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to enjoy it. Alice Hoffman definitely has a very interesting way of writing. It actually follows the sisters that were in Practical Magic. So if you remember the aunts, she had Aunt Franny and Aunt Jet, and these follow Franny and Jet as they were teenagers and growing up, which is, one of them was Stockard Channing in the movie, which I think is just awesome. So I enjoyed it. It just took me a while to read, I think, but overall I would still recommend it if you're looking for a witch type of book, but it's more like, I would say, magical realism, if you will. I don't know. If you're a Practical Magic fan, I would definitely recommend reading this. I might do a whole video review on it if you were interested in it. Overall, I liked it. I wish I liked it more. So the next 2 books that were sent to me, I fangirled out a little bit. I don't fangirl about a lot of things because that's just not me personally. There are some things I do, like Gilmore Girls, fangirl all the time. Harry Potter, fangirl all the time. There's not many other things I will fangirl about, but these, yeah, I requested these. I never thought I would get them, and then I was saving them on my Amazon list for the day I could afford them because I was like, I have to have them in my life, and then they were on my doorstep, and I was like, thank you so much. So the first one Simon Pulse sent to me, and that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 20 Years of Slaying. And these are the Watcher's Guides authorized. Ah, look at this cover. It's so gothic-y and awesome. So I fangirl over Buffy. Buffy was my first TV love. I loved Buffy. I started watching Buffy at like the ripe age of like 12. I was probably too young, but I loved Buffy so much. So if you aren't familiar and if you're not a Buffy fan, you're not going to know what the Watcher's Guides are. The Watcher's Guides are something they released every single season, like after the season was over, and it was a really big book. Like, I'm talking about this big, and it usually had like the season poster on the top of it, and it would go through each single episode in this Watcher's Guide. It would go through like what happened in the season. I would go through characters, and it was all colored, I want to say. I don't know. I had every one of them. I had a lot of Buffy stuff, guys, and I love them. I love getting them every single year. Sadly, I got rid of them because that was before BookTube, and I was an idiot. It was like, I don't need these anymore. Why? Like, I collected so many Buffy things. There was a script book, I had that. There was like just actual Buffy books that authors would write, like that was set in the Buffy world, but not episodes. So this is a Watcher's Guide. It's very, very short. I want to say this goes over every single episode as well. It has scripts in it, like as you can see. It's not colored, which is unfortunate, but still, it's very, very interesting. I think, yeah, it does go through every single episode. Like, it'll have like the episode synopsis and stuff like that. I love Buffy, so I cannot wait to go through this and read this and just fall in love with it because it's just amazing. Like, Buffy is my OG love. Like, oh, Buffy. Speaking of Buffy, tour book sent to me, Slayers and Vampires, the complete, uncensored, unauthorized oral history of Buffy and Angel. This is great. So this is a little bit different where it doesn't have any pictures in it. It's just all text, which, I don't know. I just like photos and books, I guess, with other things. So this is all about, I think, just about the show, actually, and kind of behind the scenes, how it was made, things like that. Yes, let's go behind the scenes. It's a never before told true story of Buffy and friends, the vampires, slayers, demons, and angels who changed television forever. So I'm super excited to read this. I fangirled so much. I got these both on the same day, and I was like, oh my gosh, Buffy, Buffy, Buffy. I was so excited. So thank you so much, Simon Pulse and Tor, for sending me these because I cannot wait to read these. Super excited to have them. Like, so excited. I love Buffy. Speaking of another surprise package, I can't believe that this showed up on my doorstep. That is Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella. If you don't know, Sophie Kinsella is my favorite chick lit writer. I love her books. I always say listen to them on audio. I also always try to read them as well in print because I just love them so much. This is her newest book. This does not come out till February, and somehow I have it. I don't know how I was so lucky. I don't know. Either way, this is just, oh my goodness. I love Sophie Kinsella. So I think this is all about this couple that's been married for 10 years. They have a very much in sync marriage, and then they realize that they're going to be married forever. So, you know, a lot of other things. So they start like doing little surprises for each other. I'm excited to read it because next year, my husband and I will celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary, so I feel like we're right on par with this couple. So this book is definitely very relatable in that manner because it's all about marriage, and I don't know, I kind of like it because it's different from our other series. It's different from our other books where it's all about, you know, finding love and things like that. Either way, I know I can expect to laugh a lot. I know I can expect to just love it because I really love all of Sophie Kinsella books. There's only a few that I just haven't really loved. So I am super excited to read this. It's just going to be such a good time, and I'm so excited to have this. It comes like right near Valentine's Day. So excited. The next book, Bloomsbury sent to me, and they sent me Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. They saw one of my quarterly unboxings, and one of them had one of Renee Watson's book in it, which was called The Side of Home, which I read and I really enjoyed, so they decided to send me this one that came out earlier, I think, this year. I love this cover, by the way. I don't know, Renee Watson writes beautiful, diverse books that talk about social standings, talk about things like that. This is about a girl named Jade who believes that she must get out of her poor neighborhood if she's ever going to succeed. So basically, she goes to this mentorship called Woman to Woman, and she joins this scholarship. It says, in this story about a girl striving for success in a world that feels too often like it wants to break her, Renee Watson once again delivers a thoughtful and relevant novel that explores the issues of race, privilege, and relationships. So I can't wait to read this book because I liked her other one so much. She writes just very realistically, and she writes very simplistically, if that makes sense. Like, I love her dialogue and everything. So I'm super excited they sent this to me because I've had my eye on it for quite some time. And again, the cover. The next one, Little Brown sent to me, and I'll be honest with you, I have no clue what this one is about. And that is Devils and Thieves. This is Power Corrupts, Magic Kills. This looks like a motorcycle patch though, if you will, doesn't it? I may be right on track with that. Basically, this is about like practicing magic, and then threats happen, and it says sexy and suspenseful. Devils and Thieves delivers on the bewitching combination of magic and motorcycle gangs. I don't know, that sounds really interesting. I guess I was right, it's a motorcycle pack. The next book, Entangled Teen, sent to me. They sent me a whole bunch of like different goodies with the book too, and that is Haven by Mary Lindsay. Again, I don't know what this book is about. I do love the cover of it. Basically, we have these two characters named Rain, and we have another one named Freddie, and I think they fall in love, and basically they're not good for each other, I think. It says, for the first time, Rain is something worth fighting for, worth living for, worth dying for. So, yeah, I don't know what this is about. It's, I think, like a forbidden romance, which I'm always a sucker for, if I'm honest with you. Like, if it's forbidden romance, I'm like, sign me up. So then we have Blowback 07 by Brian Meal. I actually did a video, a sponsored video about this book where I talked about music and stuff. And I also have a giveaway on my Instagram right now for this book and the sequel and some other bookish goodies. So definitely check out my Instagram if you're interested in winning this book. This is all about these two twins named Archie and Iris who don't have anything in common except for like this magical instrument that their mother left behind, and then they play it, and their friend Matt disappears, and they don't know where he goes, but Matt goes back into 1907, and he's like at this Carlisle High School, and he has to play his way home where he has to like play football, but then he falls in love with a girl, and it gets kind of muddled from there. This book has a lot in it. It has like music, time travel, football, and the second one's about baseball, I think. So if you're interested in any of those things, definitely check the series out. And again, like I said, I have a giveaway on my Instagram right now for it, so go check it out. And the last book that got sent to me was sent to me by Keywords Press, and that is Dodie, Secrets for the Mad, and this is Obsessions, Confessions, and Life Lessons. So Dodie, I believe, is a YouTuber, and she's a musician, and this is her first book. I gotta say, the cover is downright adorable in the back, and basically I think this is all lessons about her life, and it has songs in here. I don't know much about Dodie myself. I should definitely research her, but I've heard about this book. Like, this is a list of happy. I love the way it's designed in here. It's like it's written like by a friend, if you will. I think it has recipes in here, it has diary entries, it has a whole bunch of... The last stack of books I have to show you are from book boxes, and there's quite a few of them, so Amazing, exciting. Let's get into them. First two books are from Fairy Loot. Actually, just a box on my channel. It came right in the nick of time for this video. So in Fairy Loot, we actually got 2 books, which is amazing. The first book was The Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Deo, and this is a Snow White retelling, only from like the evil queen's perspective, and it's set in Southern Asia, which sounds amazing. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, so I can't wait to read it. Look at the spine too, and there's a snake on the cover. Very villainous. So I'm excited to read it because it's like from a villain's perspective, and I always loved reading about a good villain. Like, yes, that's amazing. And the other book they put in their box is an exclusive edition, mind you, of The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. This is her short story collection set in the Grishaverse. There's 6 short stories in here. Like I said, they're all set within the Grisha world. I don't think you have to read both of her series to read this. I've only read the Six of Crows duology, but what I love is that the story starts off with like kind of one illustration, and then as you go into the story, the illustration grows and it grows and it grows. Then you get to like the last page of the illustration, and it's like complete, like it's the whole page is full, and then you get a nice little color image at the end. I think that is beautiful. The way they designed it is stunning. How you have a picture, then it kind of grows, like, you know, when you flip through pages or you do like a flip book. I think that's awesome. I've heard this is perfect to read near Halloween, so I might start this soon, even though it's after Halloween. I don't know, but either way, I'm super excited to read it because I love Leigh Bardugo's writing, and I love that it's like, no, there's no dust jacket on it. It's just like got this cloth cover, and it's just, that's beautiful. The next book came in the Outcrate box, and that is Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. I always say McLemore, I don't know why. This is another exclusive edition, and it's also foiled, so if you can feel the flowers on it. And the spine. This wins hands down for the most beautiful spine I've ever had on a book. Like, it is stunning. This is another magical realism book. Can we sense a trend here? This is all about like this garden, and in this garden they have these women that are living in it, and basically they've been told that they can't fall in love or the person that they love will die, I want to say. They fall in love too deeply, their lovers vanish, then this boy shows up one day and they think the curse is done, but it's still kind of mysterious. I don't know, like they can grow flowers with their hands. I've heard amazing things about this book, so I cannot wait to read it. I plan to read it next month, hopefully, and it just sounds like an awesome. I love a really good magical realism book. Like, yes. The next book I got in my uppercase box, and that is an Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This one I'm excited but also very apprehensive because this is the one I think out of this whole entire haul that is very, very mixed reviews. There's a ton of people that don't like this book. There's some people that like it, so I'm not sure. It sounds very interesting as well. It's about like these fairies, I think, and about this girl that paints the fairies, and then she kind of falls in love with the fairy and they have to be on the run or something. I'm not sure. It sounds very interesting. I've heard it's got that forbidden romance, which I'm a junkie for, but I've heard the characters aren't the best, the romance not the best. I don't know, but the cover's amazing. It's got a raven on it, and on the back, look at that raven. So I don't know. If you've read this book, let me know. Did you hate it? Did you love it? What were your feelings on it? I have to know. The last 3 books I got from Book of the Month. I am a Book of the Month ambassador, which I am so grateful for. First book I got from them, and I know everyone is excited about this book, and that is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is his newest release, and everybody's been freaking out about it. Everyone loves John Green's books. I'm gonna be honest, and it's probably gonna be a lot of you are gonna be very happy. I'm not the biggest fan of John Green's books. I'm not. I've read I tried reading Abundance Catherine's. I DNF'd it. I read The Fault in Our Stars. I did really enjoy it. I think I would have enjoyed it more if I had read it earlier, honestly, but it was all hyped up and I had already known what was going to happen, so I don't think it had an effect on me as much as it did on other people. I read Looking for Alaska. I liked it. I also read Paper Towns. Liked it. I don't love his books, that's what I'll say. I like them. I don't love them, so I'm not on like the hype train for him. I was excited about this book, but I wasn't like, holy crap, I'm freaking out. So it's gonna be the world's most unpopular opinion, so I just want to keep it real with you guys. And I know a lot of you guys love John Green, and I think that's great. I think it's awesome to love an author so much, so I think that's great. Me, I do plan to read this. I don't want to read this right now because the hype for it's so intense. Like, everybody's saying how much they love it. I don't know much about this book as well. Aza is trying. She's trying to be a good daughter, a good friend, a good student, and maybe even a good detective, also while living within the ever-tightening spiral of her own thoughts. So I think this is also dealing with a lot of mental health, which he writes amazingly. I will give him that for sure. So yeah, I don't know. If you've read this book, let me know if I would like it, just based on what I told you about its other books. The next book I also got for Book of the Month is Beast of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth M.E. Lang. Look at this cover. I love this cover, how simplistic it is. This one is so confusing. It's basically like, I think, another magical realism book. It's finding magic in the ordinary. And Wenlin, who's orphaned and raised by wolves, and then he like saves this town from a tornado, and it just gets weirder from that when you read the description. But I've heard really amazing things about it. I believe this is also a debut, which is great. So again, if you've read this book, let me know what you thought about it, because I've heard a lot of good things about it, but it confuses me just by reading the synopsis. So maybe I should go into it like very open and not knowing anything about it. So I have to show you guys, it's definitely the biggest one, that's for sure. And that is Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King, his son. This is Stephen King's newest release, and I'm sure you've all heard of Stephen King. I have yet to read a Stephen King book. I know, I'm thinking about reading it. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but Stephen King has written so many books. This one is a book about these woman, basically, that it's in the future that happens, and when women go to sleep, they become shrouded in a cocoon-like gauze. If they are awakened, if the gauze wrapping their bodies is disturbed or violated, the women become feral and spectacularly violent. And while they sleep, they go to another place, a better place, where harmony prevails and conflict is rare. But then we have this one woman named Eve, who is immune to the blessing of the curse. Is Eve a medical anomaly, or to be studied, or is she a demon that must be slain? So this sounds interesting. I mean, Stephen King is like a master writer. I know that for sure. So I want to read this book. I don't know if this is the first book I should start out with Stephen King. So if you've read a lot of Stephen King books, let me know what is a good like beginner book to start out with him. That's not too scary. I don't do scary that well. So there you have it. Those are all of the books I acquired in October. Quite a lot to add to my TBR pile. What else is new? If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them. What should I read right away? What should I kind of put on the back burner? Because you guys help me out with that. Like if I see comments like, don't read this, it's more than likely I probably will. So seriously, let me know your thoughts and opinions of all of these books. And what books did you acquire in October? Did you get a lot of good books? Did you not get a lot of books? Are you saving up for Christmas like I am? But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. And this background's probably gonna go away soon. Sorry. But my phone will be coming back, so yay! Bye guys.